At this stage in this series, I don't think I have to do the normal intro for Rebuilding Hockeytown, do I? 70 plus episodes in, we should have stopped 25 episodes ago, yet the series that refuses to die keeps going, and here we are. Here we are, ready for another episode of this wonderful, wonderful series of mine. Now, as I've mentioned, we probably should have stopped this series a while ago, yet here we are. I'm not going to say like, oh, next season's the last one, because let's be honest, it probably won't be. We're probably going to keep going this series, despite the fact that it should have ended by now. We'll probably go until the start of NHL 18, because there is no natural stopping point at this stage. I mean, the only reason the series is going at this point is to see how good Dylan Boyer becomes. And at 22 years old, high franchise, he's a 91, so there is a chance he could reach that max potential within the next season or two. So maybe that's the natural stopping point, but I refuse to go on record as to when this series is going to stop. But what I will say, as holy shit, he is asking for money. We are absolutely doing the 85% trick here. What I will say, oh God, is that this episode will be setting up the team for next season, and we'll sim through the entirety of the next season in the next episode, as we typically do. Okay, good, we're on the same page. Let's give Boyer that deal. And to be honest, $9.6 million over 4 years isn't too bad. Bure is obviously not Canadian, so we'll let go of Dan Streit. Thanks for coming back to the team for a few seasons, buddy. By the way, Frederick Haviland, I go back and forth between, do I want to bury him in the minors or not? I said I forgave him. I did say that I forgave him. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not over the last episode yet. It's been a few days. It's been more than a few days since we have recorded an episode of this. And obviously, for certain people might be asking themselves, oh, was this live on Twitch? No, it's not this time, actually. So it has been a while since we've done an episode of this series, but it's still it's still fresh in my mind how we fell short in the playoffs. It really is. It brings a tear to my eye, man. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. But let's see. DeNicola, you know what? I don't have to do the 85% trick here, but I absolutely will. You know what? Here, let's just go 950. I actually think that's a little bit more than they should have had. Kolosov, low elite grinder. He's not even that good of a grinder. I'm going to let go of him. Low elite potentials just haven't really worked out in this series, have they? Who else do we have? Rocky Yakubov. That's the one thing I'm scared of. Is in the last episode, during the playoffs, our team was set up really well. First line players on the first line, second line players on the second line, so on and so forth. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to set this team up in that fashion in this episode, so I'm not really looking forward to that. I have to trade Topping. I need to remember to do that. And we also have to worry about whether or not Sam Boleris is going to decide to be a complete douche or not. Let's see, Jyrki Norinen. How did he do last year? Because defensively, he's not that great at all. Yeah, 16 points in 2 games. I'm just going to let go of him. He's not a massive loss. I mean, I could offer sheet him, but nobody's... Or, get him as an RFA and hope for an offer sheet. That's not going to happen. Who cares? Let's just re-sign the few players that we have to re-sign, and we will move on to free agency. The big point of this episode, the big moment, we'll say, call it what you will, the climax even. It's going to be as DeNicola rejected. What a douche. It's basically going to be how much progress will we see from some of our younger players. Like I mentioned, I fully expect some of the players who were at the AHL level last year to jump up in ridiculous fashion, being like straight third-line guys. Bucieris, Lamb, Castonguay, mainly those three. I expect all of them to be like third-line players. So it could cause some issues, is what I'm saying. But we should be okay. Hopefully, maybe. So DeNicola, you're a douchebag, as we have established. You are a douchebag. 22 years old. He's actually good. We got to hold on to him. Here, you know what? We'll just give you what you're asking for. How about that? I had a feeling I messed up that money total, but that's okay. As it is, we have nearly $43 million to spend. I am going to have to bring back a veteran or two on a max contract to make this work, as DeNicola accepts. Beautiful. Off to free agency. Off to free agency. And we'll see if there's anybody worth signing, which I mean, typically not, especially at this stage in this series. I mean, we're heading into 2032, 2033 for our season, which is still just ridiculous. But let's take a look. And yeah, that free agent class is pretty garbage. Adam Ruzicka, you do have Liljegren there. Oh boy, I should totally not bring him back. And I won't. But let's see. Yeah, there's nobody. So we'll take a look at prospects really quickly. Not expecting to find anybody. Goaltending, of course, we don't need anybody. Although Michael DiPietro is the top guy there. Van Pottelberg. Joran Van Pottelberg on the free agent list. But let's see. Yeah, there is nobody. Again, medium starter. Not bad. They're 26 years old. Low starter, 22 years old, 78 overall. That's actually not that bad. I typically don't give low starters a chance. That might be worth it, though. Maybe? Maybe. 22 years old, 78 overall. I mean, it's not like we need him on the team at all, really. You know what, for the hell of it, I'll sign him. Screw it. Let's sign him. $1 million is now the entry-level max. That's crazy. Craziness. People always ask me, like, oh, why is the cap space like $102 million? It goes up throughout the seasons, man. It does. Is there anybody decent on defense? Do we have a decent defender? We really don't. I didn't expect there to be anybody. But, man, this is... Oh, actually, here we go. Jaskalainen, 20 years old, 74 overall. I mean, medium top six isn't the greatest potential in the world. But we'll definitely try to sign him up. So what I'm going to have to do is... We'll sign whoever we can. There's also, 19 years old, 75 overall, Tursunbayev. Damn. Okay. I mean, medium top six, like I was saying, isn't the greatest. You have a 21-year-old as well. Sure. What I'll have to do... If I could finally just say what I'm meaning to say, we will see who, we'll take a look at the progression, then we'll sign those veteran players. I'm still going to have to sign those veteran players. Again, we have $42 million in cap space. It's not even fair. There is one high seventh, but he's 25 years old. Actually, is there any high AHL top six? I should probably look just in case. You never know. There might be somebody worth signing. Of course, we've seen high AHL potentials turn into some decent players before. Ralph Jarrett in the Bruins series comes to mind. Was it the Bruins series or the QC series? I can never remember. There isn't anybody anyway. Right wings. Of course, we let go of Kolosov. Mainly looking at the ages here. At 20 years old, medium top. Now, let's just look at all the forwards straight up. Is there anybody half decent? Anybody at all? There's quite a few familiar names already on this list, though, which isn't that promising. So we do have the medium top nines. We've already sent out 4 contract offers. 21 years old, 73 overall. Halverson, not really worth it. Anybody else? 74 overall, 20 years old. Nobles. Rudolph Nobles. He's probably German, so I'm probably just butchering the name. But that's okay. We will actually sign a new deal. 69 overall, Valette. No thank you. No thank you. 74 overall, Licht. Germans, man. All the Germans. All of them. And I don't even know if that first guy's German, but his name's Rudolph. So I'm hedging my bets, as they say. Is there anybody else here? I doubt it. Probably not. No. Okay. High bottom six, though? Maybe? Please? Probably not. There's no way they'd be on the free agent list. Unless they were an RFA. Holy hell, there's just so much garbage on the list. Okay, we're good. We sent out 6 offers. I think we have enough contract spots for all of them. I think we were at 43 offers. I am just going to hit sim the next season, and we'll find out who accepts and who doesn't. Jimmy Ness, the goalie, accepted. Rudy, Leo Licht, Jaskalainen, Janssen, Tursunbayev. I think that was everybody. Perfect. All right, see, there we go. We're good. We've started this episode off in a good way. We made it through the re-sign phase quickly. We pick up a couple of decent prospects. We'll get the team set up. We'll be optimistic. We'll have an amazing regular season. We'll get to the playoffs and collapse again. Because that's what we do here now. The era of dominance for Detroit at both the NHL and AHL level is very much over, despite the fact that we have had some amazing teams. And I'm sure some people are probably saying, well, what did you expect? You traded away McDavid and Matthews and Eichel. You can't expect to win the cup. But to that, I say, you're probably right. You're probably right. That's all. That's really the only thing I can say. You are probably right, but that's okay. We've done our damage. We've filled our trophy case. And now we're just continuing on with the series out of spite. Out of spite and pure anger. It's not even anger. Honestly, the series is continuing because people keep saying, hey, continue it. So it's like, oh, well, fuck it. Sure. Let's do that and see what happens. But anyway, we are here. The preseason. We'll get to take a look at our roster. And Boulerice has not recovered. Now, I'm not going to trade him. Wow, Havel's in 89 as well. Holy shit. Now, I'm not going to outright trade Boulerice. I will wait, and we'll see if he can recover mid-season. If he doesn't, his value, which we're going to check right now. Ignore the mouse clicking. I missed hitting the gigantic X on the calculator app on my computer 4 times. With Boulerice, even if his value, or even if his morale doesn't cover, his trade value should still be pretty damn high. Indeed, it is not what it should be, but we could still get a decent prospect for that. Although, of course, as you know, draft pick wise, it's not looking all that great. The first thing we need to do is get rid of a goalie, and Koivisto is the lowest overall guy. Koivisto and Koivu not exactly great, but we will have Koivu and Ness as a 1-2 combo at the AHL level. You should say, you should say probably that Bure should be the starter. Should. He should be the starter down in Grand Rapids. You're probably not wrong, but it would be nice to have them be a little bit competitive. So what I'm going to do for the moment is we will look to trade Koivisto to wherever the hell we can afford to send him, and Anaheim should work out. Of course, they have Voloshenko. I'm not going to get into the, oh, look, they have a former player. They also have a former player of ours, because that goes for pretty much every team. But there we go. We will trade away Samu Koivisto for pretty much nothing, but that's really all he's worth. Although the Ducks were like, oh, you're an idiot for even offering this trade. You should feel ridiculous. And in a way I do. But who needs to pick Horde at a time like this? On defense, what are we looking at here? This doesn't look good, or like our defense at all. That's much better. We got Simon, we got Kaminsky, and again, we are currently struggling with the idea of dealing with the cap, which is what I was worried about. So let me see if I can sign. Actually, I need to double check to see if I can sign 2 players, not just 1, because cap-wise, we are in a lot of trouble, but not because we're up against the cap. We are still battling the cap floor, which makes no sense given this team that we have at the moment. We only have 1 contract spot. Okay, so I'm going to have to be tricky about this, and by that I mean it's fine, really. I'm going to have to figure out who I want on this team, and then we'll start trading away players. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. I'm promising you. Although, then again, I don't need to promise you. Again, if you're watching this series, it's like 73, 74 episodes deep, then you are ridiculous. You're just as committed as I am. So, we'll call up these 3 players, Simon, Kaminsky, and Bolig, and that'll actually seal our defense. It's going to be weaker than it has been in years past. Of course, we traded away Philip Hronek. We traded away Nick Hague. Sad days, man. So, it's certainly an end of an era, but we'll be all right. We will have Sylvan. We'll have 2 top 4 defensemen and the top 6 defensemen. So that's good. That's perfect. So that means down in the AHL, we are going to have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 defensemen. We don't need 9 defensemen, so let's go get rid of a defenseman. That'll open up the contract spot that we need to sign a veteran. It's simple. It's straightforward. All you got to do is pay attention, which I have a lot of difficulty doing. It's weird, man. This is the first video I've recorded in quite a while. in quite a while, at least for a typical series of mine. I did do the franchise mode trailer breakdown video, which was only a couple of minutes long, because really that's all it needed to be. So I don't know if I necessarily feel a bit rusty here. I mean, that might be one way to put it, I suppose. Yui. I know he was an enforcer, obviously, given he's a 53 overall. He's American, though. So I think I could sign him if I wanted to, but also I'm just going to trade him because who cares. And we'll get rid of Ethan Hargrave as well, who never really turned into anything. So let's see, where can we send you? Every team has pretty much the full contract amount. That could be a problem. That could be a very big problem, especially if we need to trade one Sam Boulerice. Can we get a deal done here? How about just for Yui? Perfect. Third round pick's going to be too much. That's all right. Let's use a 6th round pick. I want to get their 3rd. We should be able to get this to go through fairly quickly. It's looking like that at least. And the 7th rounder should do it. Will it? Indeed it will. All right, so Yui, I'm sorry. You're never going to make the team. As it is, we have enforcers. Although technically he's not an enforcer anymore. I changed him to a defensive D-man. But Moran is technically an enforcer. So there you go. All right, Hargrave. Can we send you to Buffalo? I'm not exactly worried about trading Hargrave to a division rival. As it is, as you just saw, we did trade one Filipronik to Buffalo, but that deal is not going to work. How about to Chicago? No. How about Dallas? This is a little bit of trouble here, isn't it? Yep, we have a little bit of trouble. We're gonna have a lot of trouble. Thankfully, we can send Hargrave to Philly, whose trade value is kind of ridiculous. Is a 2nd round pick ridiculous? It's not, but it's close. Kind of. Again, depending on how many players we have to trade away, this could be a problem. Also, I really should read what they're saying instead of just hitting the button. And some people are probably yelling to me about that, which I totally understand. Okay, you don't want the 2nd round pick. It's just too much. That's fine. Let's do 3rds and a couple of other picks. It'll be fine. Let's just pick Horde to hell against Philly. As much as I can at least. 3rd and a 4th. Still not. How about just a 3rd? Alright, they'd be alright with that. And I'm not. I'm not. Let's go 6th and the 7th. Just to safety net it a little bit. No, how about just the 6th? That works. Hargrave, thank you very much. Have fun in Philadelphia. Point being, depending on how many players we have to trade away, this could be a little bit problematic. That's all I'm saying. Because we might not, as you can... Goddamn kids outside. Dude, I'm turning into an old man already. I'm in my 20s, but it's like, you goddamn kids, shut up. I'm recording for YouTube, you bastards. And if it didn't pick up on the mic, as it is 7:30 at night, there you go. If it didn't pick up on the microphone, then you're probably saying, man, Tuki's hearing stuff. Tuki's losing his mind, which you might not be wrong. You might not be wrong, but there you go. Our defense is set. We'll probably play Kaminsky on the 2nd pairing. As it is, he has quite a bit of trade value as well as the medium elite potential. So that's looking good. Although, definitely not the defense we've been accustomed to seeing on this team for the majority of these past few seasons. There are just so many background noises, man. But that's what happens when you record, even as late, air quotes on that, at 7:30 at night. People are loud. It's the only thing. Whether it's kids outside, neighbors next door, banging on walls and shit. There's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. And then again, people are like, man, you can't record during the day because your AC is on? That's ridiculous. I know, central air is just not a thing. Well, it is a thing. I just don't have central air. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are just like, when's he going to start rambling? There's your answer. There's your answer. Castonguay actually didn't improve as much as I thought he would. Tubert did, though. He's an 83. We'll swap him out, not for Sloan, but for Hurd. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to send down Sloan. I'm not, because of his current cap hit. That will go through, though. So we do have to send down one player, but aside from that, we're good. Like I mentioned, though, we do have quite a few players on the 3rd line, and actually, Pody made it up to a first-line guy. To a first-line player. So Boulerice is in a bit of trouble. For the first part of this season, we are going to have to try and do some tricks here to, try and keep everybody happy. Easier said than done. We'll see what happens. Oh shit, that's right. I got to trade Topping too. Let's go best lines for now. I'll try to trade him. We will bring in our veterans from the free agent list, and then we'll see what happens. Then we will see what happens. So, Toppin, who we had to sign just for shits and giggles. Can we send you to Pittsburgh? I'm only going to look for a 7th-round pick here, really. That's all we need to look for. 7th-round pick. I could probably even get a 6th if they can't take the deal. How about St. Louis? The problem is, I'm going to have to trade away. I'm going to have to trade away even more players from our forward core. We're in a lot of trouble here simply because other teams are somehow magically at the full contract limit, even though typically you'll always see a team, or apparently not always, but typically you'll see a team that has, say, 40 contracts somehow. That hasn't happened here. Can we send him to Philly? We can. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you, Philly. I appreciate it. Let's go find 2 veterans to, take up some cap space, really. That's all we're looking for. $41 million in cap space. We'll look for veterans. We could bring back Renouf. I never learned how to properly pronunciate it. We do want weaker players, though. Actually, no, I could just have them sit on the NHL roster. I could. So, yeah, 70s don't really matter. So we could go Renouf and Wenberg, which might not be too bad. I will look for a forward and a defenseman, and they'll just sit on that roster. It's Renouf or Carlson. Maybe even Ethan Bear. Yeah, let's go with Renouf, an original in this series. It's funny. He's looking for 2 years at a one-way contract. He is insane, but that's what happens when you pay him like $13 to $15 million like we did last season. Now, again, I can't offer him like a $23 million contract because he'll decline it because the game's not programmed to have players accept that much money. Which, I mean, I don't necessarily blame EA because you wouldn't expect in this, in this mode to have to send somebody an offer like that. But it is a thing. At least in this series and Draft to Glory, it was a thing. Here, we'll go $13 million for Renouf. So I don't know. I don't typically, I don't flat out blame them. Alex Wenberg. Or do we sign Peter Cehlarik? You know what? Let's sign Cehlarik. Why not? Why not? So let's see. I sent, what, $13 million to Renouf. So we'll send probably $13 million to Cehlarik. And even then, we are still going to have an absurd amount of cap space, which... Funny how that happens, although quickly that cap space will disappear the longer the series goes on because all of these younger players will start asking for $10 million a season. Circle of life. Circle of life. There we go. We need to hear back from these players. I need to clear the trade block, set up the scouting, and then we'll wait for those guys to accept, and then we're looking all right. I mean, again, there are some forwards that we're going to have too many forwards. But I don't think I'm going to be able to trade away a lot of them. I mean, if you guys have watched the series, which of course I imagine you have, at this point, unless it's like the first video of mine that you're watching, in which case I'm sorry that I'm just not that interesting. But I typically like to have the team around 43, 44 contract spots. We're going to get stuck around 47, 48, I would assume. Maybe we'll have a chance to have it be a little bit lower. I'm not entirely sure. The main event, though, of this episode is seeing if we have any players in the Rest of World category. We haven't for the past few years, and we still don't. You know, there are only going to be a few people that get this reference, but on Twitch, we did a throwaway franchise mode, stream specific, not actually for a series, and we ended up drafting a North Korean called Stu Holmes. And I didn't continue that throwaway franchise, and because of that, the luck of the North Koreans, as I will call it, transferred over to a good buddy of mine named Sin for the Win. And now all he does is draft North Koreans, and I can't get one. Instead, what I get is the Swedish goalie in this series that I needed in another series. Just lovely, but... oh, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I gotta admit, though, I have to admit, scouting-wise, I'm still just so damn excited. So damn excited. That plane, my God. Sorry, I could just hear a plane overhead. Typically, Yeah, it's not really... Well, it is a thing. They don't typically sound that loud. I'm sure, if you live, like, in a big city or near a fucking airport, you're like, oh, whatever, it's a plane. But for other people, when you hear planes, is it like, holy shit, that's louder than normal. It's falling, and I'm gonna die. Does that thought go through anyone else's mind, or is it just me? Anyway, I forget what I was saying. Oh, scouting. The franchise mode breakdown video. If you didn't watch that, go watch that. Regardless, the news is amazing. Can't wait for NHL 18, because scouting is actually going to mean something again, and it's lovely. Anyway, we'll call up our noof. Again, on defense, we're good. We have our 8 defensemen. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Forwards, it's going to be a problem. That's what it's going to be. Let's call up Solaric. And then again, you have Lamb, Castonguay, that are depth forwards. So what we're probably going to have to do here is we will set up the team, and then we'll take a look at how many third-line players are stuck on the fourth line, and we'll look to call up Lamb and Castonguay. So, unfortunately, some people didn't progress. Bucieras did. He is a third-line guy, as I kind of expected him to be. Roloff's a third-line guy. All of these guys are third-line guys. That's not good. So Cole Lind is a second-line player. We have Janssen at an 88, and then the rest of them are first-line players. Evans is a 74 for face-offs. Pody is a 72. We could very well trade Boulerice right now. Right, we could trade Boulerice and go with that as our new top line, but I don't want to give up on Boulerice just yet. I mean, we know he's a 93, right? Medium franchise. I got him to a 93 overall. That's all well and good, but he can't recover. We lost in the playoffs. We traded away some players that were good friends of his. I still don't want to give up on him just yet, right? So what I'm going to do is we'll put Evans back on the right. We'll have Pody on the second line. Honestly, I think Cole Lind has to go. We brought him back, and that's all well and good, but I want to give Bucieras the chance. I mean, he is 20 years old. He's already looking like a pretty good player. So we'll give Bucieras the chance with Janssen and Pody on the second line. Third line, if we're taking a look at ages and potentials, and these guys don't really matter too much anymore. You got DeNicola, Tubert, Rocky Yakubov is important, I would say. So we could go with DeNicola. Actually, I meant to keep Tubert up there, although Tubert's potential isn't great. It really isn't. So that's tough. I could keep Cole Lind. I definitely could keep Cole Lind. We could keep him on the second line. I mean, again, he's better than what he's showing up as right now. It is a morale thing because, of course, we let go of a lot of players. But we do have a lot of younger guys in the lineup potentially. And then, of course, Castonguay and Lamb at some point in this season will be good enough for the NHL level. Dennis Miura and DeRocher are also right there. So it's just a matter of when do I want to make these moves, and the sooner the better, I would say. So, let's take a look. I'd say we need to trade 2 players at least. Boulerice isn't going to be one of them, so we'll take a look at who has the lowest value, and then we'll make room for Castonguay and the other guy whose name I can just simply not remember. Just can't remember his damn name. Don't know why. That's okay, though. That's okay. So, forwards. Who do we have? Aside from Solaric, of course. We're looking for those in the NHL already. Tubert and Tikhonov have the lowest potentials. Bucieras also not looking that great, unfortunately. It just sucks that Tubert's listed as a third-line guy. Because, I mean, look at him. He's not. He's a fourth-line power forward. He's a fourth-line grinder. So, I mean, I could probably play him on the fourth line, but it's not worth keeping him if he's going to complain. So I think Tubert has to go. And then Tikhonov isn't great, really. I mean, he's a grinder. Like, defensively, he's all right. The defensive awareness is a bit weak. So I am just going to flat out get rid of these 2 players. The question is, where can I send them? Now, I am going to try to just trade for 1 forward, and of course I need to double check to see who can actually take on 2 different contracts without me having to take one back, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. I already know Buffalo isn't going to work. Here, you know what? We'll go from Winnipeg first. Let's see. Stuart Pascale. What could have been if we kept Stuart Pascale? Vancouver doesn't work. Again, this is what I was worried about. We could be in a bit of trouble. St. Louis doesn't work. I could trade them one at a time, right? But obviously, ideally, we'd be able to trade them as a duo and get somebody back that's actually half decent. Not looking like that's going to happen. It could be difficult to trade just one of them to begin with, which, again, that is the one thing that I'm upset about in this episode, is the fact that somehow the AI GMs have somewhat smartly managed their cap situation, which is an extreme rarity. A very extreme rarity. We are in a little bit of trouble here. Just a bit. Chicago, save me from myself. Nope, you can't. Great. Right. All right, I got to try and trade them one at a time. Again, this is what I was worried about. This is very problematic. Very problematic. I need to switch this to draft picks. Draft picks. And actually, this is what I should have been doing the first time, not looking for skaters. I mean, I don't really need anybody else. So that was a mistake, but that's okay. I mean, at least now I know. So let's see. Pittsburgh, please? No? Great. Ottawa, save me. No. Okay, it's fine. Damn it, this is the one disappointing thing. We might be stuck with the roster we currently have for this season, which again, we have too many players, which means certain prospects aren't going to get the ice time that they should. And, you know, certain players who should get that NHL time simply aren't going to, which really sucks, but that is the current situation that we are dealing with because I can't buy out contracts at this point in time, and there isn't a single team we can make a deal with. So we are stuck with the team that we currently have, which, again, isn't the worst case scenario. As far as convenience goes, yeah, it sucks. And if I really wanted to, I could just send Tubert down and hope that he gets claimed on waivers. But for now, we will set up this roster in the best way that we can, and we'll have to hope for the best heading into next season. So, Cole Lind does stay, actually, so there you go. Yakubov, DeNicola, and Tubert. You know, on here, we'll send down Tubert. So, is Cole Lind still a second-line guy? He is. Okay, so that means that we'll have the second line of Pody, Janssen, Lind. Third line will be Yakubov, DeNicola, and Bucieris. However, who can play center? That would be Yakubov, which is all right. That should be a somewhat efficient third line. Definitely some scoring potential. I mean, Bucieris, you know, the playmaking, the shot, good shot. 82 offensive awareness is a bit concerning. Rocky Yakubov, good puck skills and shooting, decent at least. 80 offensive awareness is very concerning. And then DeNicola, decent puck skills, good shot, 79 offensive awareness. That might be a bit too low for him to really be able to accomplish anything. Tikhonov will be the center. So there you go. That is the team. We'll keep the power play and penalty kill unit set up the way it currently is, and we'll double check to see if certain players complain. But I mean, Boleris and Pody, they have ice time on the power play like they should. The big thing will be the penalty kill, mainly for all three guys on the fourth line because they are third line players. I would imagine that Tikhonov and Roloff have PK time though. By default, Tikhonov does, Roloff doesn't. But you know what? That's all right. That's all right. I don't expect Roloff to get much better than that. Although it's funny, he's not really a two-way forward. He'd probably be better suited as a playmaker. But again, he's 24. He's not going to get much better than what he currently is. And then on defense, no, we're not going to play Rudy Moran on the on that top pairing. We will put Simon there with Sylvan. We'll put Sylvan on the right. Second pairing, Rudy is a top four player. Again, remember, he was an enforcer. As you can tell by the 94 fighting skill, we changed him to a defensive D-man so that he would make a little bit more use out of a decent puck skills category and 83 offensive awareness. He still took plenty of penalty minutes last season, 123, but that was down from the 219 the year before, which is good. We want him to be on the ice a little bit more. He will be with Kaminsky And actually, Moran has a half-decent slap shot, so we'll put him on that side. And then we have the two righties, but that's fine. Who has the better shot? I'm going to say it's Lakkonen. So we'll put him on the left and have a Ronald Bowling on the right. And then, of course, the goaltending. Boyer and Havlin. We can't trade Havlin right now. If we really wanted to, we'd have to trade him for a shitty goalie and draft picks, which isn't ideal. Although, in fairness, it could be Havlin and Tubert, for example, for a shitty goalie and a great forward. But I'm all right with keeping Havlin for now, because I really don't want teams to be able to use him against us, much like they've done with literally every other goalie in the league, because we've had pretty much every goalie in the league at one point or another. Now, the goaltending, again, is set with Koivu and Jimmy Ness. You could argue Igor Bure should start, and if this team sucks, then yeah, we'll put Igor Bure in. He should still improve. He should. He might not, but he should, despite being the scratched goalie. And then really quickly, how many scratched players do we have? We actually don't have that many. You know what? We're actually set up perfectly. I thought we had too many players signed, but I'm all right with that. We have our depth goalie, we have our 2 depth defensemen, and then we have 3 forwards. So we really only have 1 extra forward than I'd like to have. So that's not bad. That's not bad. We're actually set up really well. So that's good. But really quickly, who were the scratched defensemen? Zajac is medium top 4. Labrie is medium top 6. So Zajac needs to be put into the lineup. We will, as Tursenbayev went up, we need to take a look. We need to sort by potentials. We need the best potentials on the top lines. And again, 20 years old, he'll stay. Markstrom stays, which means Jaskalainen and Jansen are currently in trouble. One of them has to be scratched for Zajac. I'm not quite sure who I want that to be. Although, again, it's funny. People give me shtick and issue because I like to still have the lefties and the righties even though I'm not playing the game. The reason why I do that is for the power play. Okay? Because if you have nothing but lefties, it can still be a bit of an issue. Maybe I'm just being a bit too nitpicky, and that's fine. I can accept that. But it is what it is. I set up my teams the way I like to set up my teams, and if you think I'm wrong, go look at our trophy case, damn it. That's my defense. Go look at the trophy case. We are going to take Jaskalainen out of the lineup in favor of Zajac. And let's see here. So we have our... Actually, here, you know what? Yeah, I'm still going to go with the righties. You might think, Toogie, what the hell is the matter with you? I'm still going to go with the righties as it currently stands. So we got lefties on the left, righties on the right. It's perfect. Beach, Kuhlman, and Zajac, though, are clearly our 3 project defensemen here. And it'll be interesting to see how Beach does. 78 overall at 19 years old. Pretty damn good. And then forward-wise, again, sorting by potentials. We're looking for medium top 9s or worse to put toward the bottom. Let's see, and then Rudy. I'm still going to call him Rudy. Is he German, after all? He is. See? If his name's Rudolph, he's probably German. Or a reindeer. Either way. High top 9, high bottom 6 can go on the third line. Medium elite, medium elite, medium elite. High top 9, medium top 6. Alright, so high top 9 is typically a bit more valuable than medium top 6. So we'll probably just put Lamb there because he has a 74 overall. So high bottom 6, and then all these guys are medium top 9s. We could go with Rudy, or we could go with Leo. LL, double L, as I'm going to call him. And we'll actually have him on the 4th line, so that's fine. Who can play center out of these two? We'll go with Harry Sloan. 3rd line is good. Yep. 2nd line, what do we got? Again, I'm going to have righties on the right. I'm sorry, but that's the way that it is. So we have medium elite players. Actually, nope, here we need to have Peverly on the top. So medium elite, medium elite, medium elite. Lovely. Lovely stuff. And Castonguay should be the better center. He is, well, but actually, it's kind of close. I'm gonna give it to Castonguay just because of the defensive awareness. And then Bucieros is a better center than Miura. So, our teams are set. Am I expecting to have a good season? Well, at the NHL level, yeah. I still feel like we have a good team. We are running into the issue, though, of Boulderis needs to turn it around. Pody might complain about being on the second line. We don't want to get stuck with Cole Lind for too much longer. He is 33 years old. It's his last season under contract, so we might struggle to trade him at the trade deadline. We might not be able to because we might need him for a playoff run. And then there is the issue of players on that fourth line potentially complaining about ice time. But I'm still liking what our team is. Again, it's nothing compared to what it's been in years past, but that's to be expected. Same story for our defense. Absolutely, as Sylvan is the gem of this defense. Aside from that, potential in Philip Simon, potential in Alexei Kaminsky, Lakonen as well, 22 years old, medium elite. Hopefully he can have himself a good year. I mean, the defense is pretty good. It is pretty good as far as potential goes, and then, of course, the goaltending, you'd like to think that we'd never give up a goal in any individual game, because holy shit, this goaltending tandem, but we know that's not going to happen, right? We know that's not going to happen. And then down in the AHL, we still have some really good potential players, 4 medium elite forwards, with Peverly, Castonguay, Lamb, and Grachev, but again, Lamb and Castonguay will very quickly turn into third-line players, more than likely. Maybe they won't, but that's been the trend throughout this entire series. And then on defense, 2 medium elite defensemen and a medium top 4 in Brian Zajac. With the goaltending, it's not great, is it? I mean, it's good for AHL level, but like potential-wise, I mean, neither of these two are going to make the NHL. If the team sucks, again, we'll put in Igor Bure at that point, and he'll get some ice time. But I think we're done here. The team is set. We will see what happens as we head into the new season. 96, 93, and 97 for ratings. 85, 78, and 82 for the Griffins. And actually, the last thing we'll do here is we will take a look, because the team has changed quite a bit. The question is, who will our captains be heading into the new season? Bucieris is a presence, and that's apparently it. So we don't have a true locker room leader, but let's take a look at who has the letters. Zeeler, Pody, and Sylvan. Well, Pody, I'm sorry. You underperformed last year, so I am going to take that letter off of you and give it to Boulderis to see if that will kind of kickstart things and maybe help turn him around. Although, how much is Pody going to complain, and was that worth it? We'll find out, but I'm sure he's all right. Lind, Evans, and Boulderis are all disengaged. Pody is still about the same. He should be fine. And then down in the AHL, Leo, Hurd, and Kuhlman are the presences in the locker room, which doesn't necessarily mean you have to hand them the letters. I mean, I'm not... actually, here, you know what? I will take that letter off of DeRocher, and we'll give it to Leo. And do I want to hand who was Kuhlman? We'll still have Lamb as the captain, just because he's an 83, and we don't want to stunt his development any further than it probably will be by being on a somewhat subpar Grand Rapids team. Guys, that will do it for this one. The series that refuses to die will continue. We will sim through the next season in the next episode, but for now, we are done here. So I hope you did enjoy. If you did, you know what you have to do to support the video, to support the channel, to support me. Links to Twitter and Twitch are in the description, of course. I'm looking forward to your feedback in this episode. How do you think we will do as we head in to another season with the Detroit Red Wings? I think we'll have a good regular season. I think we'll make the playoffs, and then we'll probably get swept in the first round. But if you're a bit more optimistic than I am, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Rebuilding Hockeytown, or whatever the hell we're calling this series at this point.